So listening, pay attention.
You're looking for capitals?
John Bailey is a former teacher who now works as a behaviour consultant, troubleshooting in schools throughout the country. He's spending a week at Bexley Heath School working with NQTs. Today, he's with geography teacher John Fuentes. Bailey believes the key to behaviour management is teaching technique.
Charlie.
Bailey records his observations on video, providing concrete evidence for later feedback. John's being filmed teaching tectonic plates and volcanoes to 9GB, a settered middle ability group.
Just use your notebook as we're going through it, if anything in particular catches your eye,
Right, OK.
so that you can write down what you think you've seen.
OK, right, 9GB, if you just settle down then. Make sure
So what we're doing is we're going to dig into a lesson and find out what was good about it and see what else you might do.
Right, why have you forgotten your book? Right, OK, it's going to be a little star next to your name in my register. If you do it again, 10 minutes at the end of the day, understand? If you've lost your book, it will cost you 50p. Today, what I'm going to do, I touched on it last lesson, right, but we're going to concentrate today with the top layers of the Earth, it's melted rocks.
What do you think about the authority of this character you're looking at?
Which helps the plates, OK, which we talked about...
It's surprising, actually.
OK, to move around. Right, we're going to go into detail.
It's weird, they're all
Proven later on.
paying attention. It's really weird. I've got 30 people.
Those gas canisters ignite, OK?
They look older than I sort of perceive myself.
Yeah, you don't look like a kid dressed up as a teacher.
No, I was going to say, it's weird.
Now, what's he going to do, right, if it starts to go really
First of all, what's happening to you at the front of the room? Do you mind if I...
What's he going to do? Somebody other than Terry, OK?
And I wonder if you can see that. And OK, and I'm wondering what... OK. Now, what am I doing here? What are you seeing?
I suppose it's showing a sign of inconfidence, I suppose.
No, don't be hard on yourself. Just tell me the things that you see me doing. What am I actually doing?
Well, just moving backwards and forwards.
I think that when you're doing presentation, there's a lot to be said for having a teaching position and staying in it. Yeah, you plant your feet. This is what and this is where you are when you're teaching. And today we're going to be talking about tectonic plates, and we're talking about Africa, diddly bomb, diddly push. So, do you see how much easier it is to focus on me if I stand in one place?
Right, okay.
Now, I don't want to turn you into a frozen dummy, and of course you're going to want to move and all that, but I'd just like you to think about who you are when you're standing at the front of the room, because some of the children in the room who are kinesthetic learners are going to be very focused on the amount of movement that you're making around the room.
There's a process which goes on, OK, which helps the plates, OK, which we talked about, the crust which sits on that, OK, to move around.
Why do you think you're doing all those OKs?
Because I'm trying to, in a way, kind of assess their... to like, make sure that they know what I've told them.
That saying OK all the time comes across as a little bit nervous and unassertive. Why is it happening? It's a bit as though you're trying to pace the knowledge on. Yeah, 2 and 2 equals 4. OK, all right. OK, all right.
Yeah.
A bit like a salesman, but also as though you're inviting them to give you their understanding. There's a very easy way to do it. You can say a tectonic plate is a part of the Earth's crust that moves around the surface of the Earth. Albert, tell me what I just said. Jane, can you put what I said in different words? It's getting them engaged, and it's also giving you a chance to assess what they know.
What they know.
I'd like you to consider the idea, and I'm saying consider because I don't want you running in trying to turn your teaching style inside out, because it doesn't need that. But I would like you to think about the idea of doing a little bit more inviting them to tell you what they've understood by what you've said.
Before you can understand that, you need to think about how...
John's already been talking for 15 minutes.
All right, OK, I'm going to talk for about 10 more minutes, right? It's a little bit of a talk and chalk lesson today. There's some principles here that basic understanding is really needed, OK?
You see, by this time I wasn't entirely confident
These were, yeah,
that they were still on board.
I could sense that as a bit of hair fidgeting and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you might have been boring for England by this time.
Yeah.
What you need to do is think about that this point here, okay, is the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. And you've got South America sat here, okay, and you've got Africa over there. All right? Now, these are moving apart at the same rate that your fingernails grow, okay? So when you cut off your fingernails next time, have a look at it. That's how much further, okay, America is away from Africa than it was the last time you cut your fingernails, okay?
What we'll see in a minute is we'll see you release them onto task.
And it was...
And then you'll see them, whoa, they still hadn't got it.
Okay, if you turn to page 32 in your books, now I'm going to hand you out a map now, and it will need some careful colouring in. Because by the end of the day, I want you to understand and be able to name all of the major plates, okay? What you're trying to do is you're trying to find something that you can really know the shape. Try and find the United Kingdom, Africa or something big like that. Okay? You realise, okay, that it should be this way up.
So like that, that's the South Africa. So because it's in South Africa, join together.
Yeah, that's right, excellent. Yeah.
So you get plates off that map as well?
Yeah. A better one to use is that one, okay, because that really shows the edge as well. The map on page 34.
Thanks, sir.
I think it's funny, because looking at it now, it would have been very easy to have gone into this task much sooner. Much sooner than that.
Yeah, there may be an issue here with pace, mightn't there?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Should take you no more than, what should we say, 10 minutes? Yeah, you haven't got this out for a while. 10 minutes? Not 20, no, it's colouring in, it's a small area. 29. 11. Okay, I like that. I'll tell you what, I'll give you an extra minute, Charlie. All right, I'll give you 12 minutes. Okay?
I like that a lot.
Right.
You might even want to make more of that with putting timings up for lessons beforehand and then getting them to assist you in... if pace is an issue, it's not just your job, it might be their job as well. Yeah, here's what we're trying to achieve in different phases of the lesson.
Right, I see what you mean.
Help me...
Yeah, I see what you're
Help me work with it.
Right.
Considering you're a bit confused to start with, you've done really well so far. I'm really impressed, actually.
Do remember that there are some children who want a bit of extra encouragement and praise from their teacher, and your smile and your well done and your acknowledgement of what they've done is really important to them. It doesn't cost that much to
do that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's often just the smile or the nod or whatever it is. But you know, they want you to be their dad as well as being a teacher.
Right, OK, guys, the bell is going to go. Year 9. Come on. Shush. Can anyone explain to me then what we find in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean under the sea? What's it called? Che?
The Atlantic Ridge.
Excellent. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Brilliant. OK?
Because I'm thinking, oh God, that was one of the worst endings ever.
Right, guys, I'll have to set your homework for you for tomorrow.
No one does
instead,
endings
okay?
right. All around the country.
Really?
People teach like maniacs until the last 90 seconds and then scream at children about homework and do a kind of fucking summing up. And the idea that last 10 minutes is just an invaluable consolidation time and hangs triggers on the knowledge, and for some children it'll be the first time they've put it together.
Terry?
African plate.
African plate. We don't sit on the African plate, but that's one of the other major plates, OK?
Learning to use that last 10 minutes, yeah, for my money, it's a very high-class professional skill.
Right.
Excellent. Yeah, record sheet is there. All right. I'm going to sort of be more focusing on like the edges of the plates today rather than the plate in general.
John's about to teach 9GB again, with John Bailey sitting in.
Yeah.
He plans to talk less and involve certain pupils more.
Charlie, would you explain to me what I've just said in your own words? Tell it as a journey. Imagine you're a piece of molten rock that has just popped up at the Atlantic Ridge.
Now, Charlie, I thought that was great. And let's just remind ourselves what happened there. First of all, you asked him a question. He's a child who I guess can mess about. And one of the reasons he might mess about is he doesn't expect to be right about things.
Right, what's going to happen to you now to get you back into a molten rock state again? Tell you what, Charlie, why don't you ask somebody else in the class who you think might know the answer, or be able to help you out at least?
James.
OK, James?
The molten rock comes up and then it moves, it goes along and then it comes to the South American plate.
Excellent.
And then it goes underneath and melts back into the molten lava.
Molten lava. Excellent, brilliant, OK? And as it's going past... It's actually quite important because sometimes if a question ends up on him, a lot of what comes off of that, I think, helps a lot of other people which aren't probably of the same ability as him, but because they don't make a noise, I don't sort of focus on them. But I think a lot of mistakes that he makes, they would make as well. And when we then get the answer right with him, and he explains it, and it's on his level and his terms, then they're all going to understand it as well.
Yeah, and because children's voices are much more salient to each other than our voices are to them.
Right.
And I think there's two other things going on there, because first of all, you asked him that question and his head came up. Then you gave him the get out. If you don't know the answer, you can nominate somebody else, and that's great. That's a routine. We can start teaching a whole class. So you're not stupid not to know the answer.
So it
No.
pops up.
Yeah.
It floats along on the mantle.
Yeah.
It gets pushed under there.
Right. OK. Why does it get pushed underneath that one? Excellent, yeah? Yeah? You see that?
But I think then you go back to the original target child and either get them to repeat the answer that's just been given, so they come away feeling clever, because making children feel clever is the first step for teaching and learning. It's also an important step for behaviour management. Or what you did, which I think was absolutely textbook, you went back and did some coaching with him.
And as it slides past, what happens? It rubs. Causes friction and vibrations, which lead to our... and volcanoes. Yes. OK?
So that you created the conditions for him to be successful at the end of the lesson and teach the other children. And that's teaching and learning and behaviour just, pushed together.
OK, Charlie, I said I'd ask you a big question towards the end. Imagine you are a piece of lava that has just appeared in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, right, at the bottom. What's going to happen to your journey now to get you back into a molten rock state?
I'm going to float on a bit of molten rock. No, molten, I think.
Sorry, what layers that you're going to float on? Give me them.
Mantle.
Mantle, good. You're going to float on the mantle.
Yeah.
Right.
To the rock, and I'm going to go underneath the rock.
What's the rock called?
South American plate.
Good. South American plate. Excellent.
And we're going to rub together.
Yeah. OK.
And I'm going to go into the lava and melt.
OK, excellent. When you rub together, what's going to happen?
It's going to cause friction and heat.
Right, and that could result in what?
Earthquake.
And?
Volcanoes erupting.
Excellent, brilliant, OK? That is a top-level answer. Excellent. I think Charlie deserves a clap for that. OK, brilliant.